from the hills of West Clare to international stages in the United States. Singer-songwriter Siobhán O'Brien has built a remarkable career rooted in storytelling and place, and her latest release, Sometimes It Takes A Dutchman, tells the very local story of Harry Jeuken, better known as Harry the Dutchman, who left Holland to farm in the Burren and now welcomes visitors along the much loved Lough Avalla Farm Loop. And joining me now are Siobhán and Harry on the line, and thanks to both of you for being with us. Siobhán, I'm going to start with yourself. Kind of give a brief sense of the various staging posts on your musical journey. How would you describe your career so far as a songwriter and performer?
Hi, Ellen. Thanks for having me. Oh God, yeah, it's been very long, I suppose, and it's very, it's a very hard business to break into, because there's so many various things why you can and you can't, but usually it's the song. So this song seems to have kind of captured people's imagination. Now, the songs I used to write before wouldn't have been so much like story songs or like ballads. So I think that is why people are kind of gravitating towards it now. Plus, of course, Harry is such an enigma and a great character. My two friends had gotten lost on this hike, and they didn't even know they were really on a hike. And the dark was coming in, and the evening was getting very dim, and they saw this light in the cottage, the stone cottage, and they were just drawn to it because they were lost. And so they went in and they met Harry, and he gave them tea and apple tart, which he does with, I'd say, hundreds of people that have passed through at this point. And they came home to me and just told me this beautiful story, and I was so touched by it. I'd never been there. I'd never heard of him. I'd never heard of the hike. And it was just so gorgeous. And I hadn't written in a while, and I kind of was so chuffed at myself that I'd written a story song, so it's great. It's so great. And thanks for the inspiration, Harry.
Yeah, a lovely kind of genesis for this. And Harry, when did you become aware that your work on the Lough Avalla Farm Loop, and indeed your story in general, had inspired a song? And what was your reaction when you first heard it?
Yeah, good morning, Alan. Thanks for bringing me in. The main thing is, Alan, that I want to say a few things why I have that affinity with Ireland. I grew up on a farm in Holland. When I was about 5, I remember that for the first time the tape recorders came into the world, you see. And I have an auntie in Canada, and each of my siblings and many other cousins, we all had to speak or do something for half a minute. And on that tape, I started singing a song. A long, long time ago. I was around 5, and that tape was sent to my auntie. And years ago, I heard that tape. And that tape, the song I sang was very, very, very Irish, was Gaelic. I just made, that's incredible. I never realized it. So that, I think, not physically, I think I was born in Ireland. That's what I want to say at first. The other thing which is important, in 1970, when the Trouble started, in the north, I was still living in Holland. I was 19, and I invited a group of students from the north, young people, to come by plane from Belfast to Amsterdam, and I entertained them near Utrecht for weekends for discos to have young people taken away from Belfast with all the troubles. So I organized this with at a lot of occasions, and so I had another frequent meeting with Irish people. So that was probably the beginning that I had a feeling I someday I have to go to Ireland. That has to be my country.
So you have that kind of sense that someday you'll end up here, but thinking it and actually doing it are two entirely different matters. So when did you finally decide, I'm going to move to Ireland? And obviously delighted you chose Clare, and there's lots of reasons why anyone would, as many have from other parts of Ireland and the world. But what made you come to Clare, and West Clare in particular?
Yeah, so I started in 1971 in County Kilkenny. So I've always been farming, working on a farm in Kilkenny, milking cows. And but eventually I moved away from that because Kilkenny is big farming, it's like an industry, and I'm a very traditional farmer. But I remember, I used to tell you this as well, milking cows, but then come April, May, when a lot of work is on any farm, I started weeding sugar beet and fodder beet. So I took a hoe and was doing it. And the farmer said, Harry, don't do that. This is for women. Don't do those jobs, like pulling weeds. And you see, and that was a bit, I thought, I'm landed in a country where women are still, in my view, not fully respected. Because women are so good in general. And luckily, things have vastly improved. So, but I mean, I never forget that. But then I moved towards North Clare, the Burren. Because I looked for an old traditional farm, and I ended up here. And then when I start to get the farm in good order, I decided, together with the family, someday we should have a walk that people can walk from near Mullockmore to walk in a loop around a traditional farm. And that's what we did in 2010. And ever since that day, I come across people who are so, I call it sweet, so good. They like it so much to be able to come. And so it's a delight for us and the family that so many people respect and come to walk here.
Yeah.
And at the same occasion, that evening, I met Siobhán. And my dear, the title, Sometimes It Takes a Dutchman to Find the Irish in Me. What a beautiful, beautiful opening. Because I think I am a little bit Irish.
You have to, you have to be more than a little bit at this stage. And I have to say, Siobhán, you got a song out of Harry's story. It sounds like you get a full album's worth of material.
Sorry,
I know. He's so interesting. I mean, I didn't know any of that he's talking about there. That's absolutely fascinating.
Even my children might not know it. So,
yeah. You keep your cards close to your chest.
I feel very much at home. That's the main thing, and so delighted that we can, that we got accepted and that
no,
we
it's
meet
such a beautiful place. It's a real sanctuary for people, and the Burren is so amazing anyway, you know, a world UNESCO site and everything else. We're so lucky to have it on our doorstep, and then to have this culture brought in by Harry is just amazing. And I'd never thought that I'd write a song like that, and I'm so delighted that it happened like that.
And Siobhán, how does it fit into the you know, it's part of your latest album, The Irish in Me, which is part of the lyric of Sometimes It Takes a Dutchman. How does the single fit into the wider theme of the album, or is there a wider theme of the album?
I'll tell you, the album I'm still recording with Ger O'Donnell. Who produced that song, Sometimes It Takes a Dutchman, is John O'Connell. So a lot of people in West Clare would know John. He had a band called The Fiddle Case, and he's emigrated to America now. But he did such a lovely, beautiful job on the song. And I did another song with him called The Banks of the Abbey, which is about my dad in Limerick, growing up on the Abbey River. Another story song, kind of a ballad. So the rest of the album is nearly done. And so I had these songs done already, and they're kind of done 2 years, and I just was like, Jeannie Mac, I need to get this out, like. So before the summer came, I said, let's go for it. And so the rest of the album will be old Irish songs and some new modern songwriters that I'm going to cover. Actually, John O'Connell is one of them. He's a song called Farewell to Milltown, another beautiful story song about Milltown, which resonates with me because I've been coming down here for, since I was 10. And, you know, Harry's talking about the disco there. We used to go to the disco in the Armada when we were like 14, 15 and 16. So, I mean, I just love Clare. You know, I love living here in Quilty by the sea in a little Irish cottage, so it's great.
Well, we are going to play the song now, and really looking forward to everyone hearing it. It is called Sometimes It Takes a Dutchman. You can find it on Siobhán's album when it's done and out. Siobhán, we wish you the best with that. Great story behind this song, and thanks so much for joining us. And Harry Jeuken, thank you very much to you, and hopefully we'll be speaking to you again soon, and all the best to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Alan. You're welcome.
Siobhán O'Brien and Harry Jeuken with us on Morning Focus. And here's Siobhán's song about Harry, Sometimes It Takes a Dutchman.
They walked and walked o'er the barren scrag till the evening light gave its due. They walked and found the welcome It helped them navigate in the failing light, like in the days of yore. From the Dutchman came tea and apple tart from his heart. Sometimes it takes a Dutchman in the middle of the burn, who lights the way for travelers from the lantern that he burns. Sometimes it takes a Dutchman in the middle of the burn to see the Irish in me. The warming light from the sash window, the welcoming light for a weary traveler. He told them of his life, how he loved the Irish land, how he lived the Irish way, came near a fortune. Sometimes